this Euro 2024 semi-final picks edition of the Euro 2024 Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with our code PLGP to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the Euro 2024 Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you eventually from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is absolutely no idea. Sunday, the 7th of July. We are here to preview the Euro 2024 semi-finals taking place on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Joining us, looking forward to the Christmas party, £18 more in the fund, is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazette, what's happening?
Entirely not my fault on this occasion as well. I might add,
right.
I was 2 minutes early tonight. It's an absolute shambles. You haven't played the intro. You didn't do the countdown. You've played no music.
Yeah.
Absolute
What's
shambles.
happened was, Baz, I panicked a little bit because, right, I got the laptop back. So as you can see, I'm in crystal clear, full high definition, looking $1 million back again. But I couldn't hear you, Baz. And there was no reason why I couldn't hear you. Everything was plugged in. Everything was like it's been for the last 192 episodes, but I couldn't hear you. Bob was trying to do things. So eventually, he's given me his Xbox headphones. I changed the setting. Then I could hear you. Then you said in a grump, however, then let's get on with it. So I then pressed go live instead of pressing the countdown. And then I panicked. Then I couldn't find the music. So now we're just here we are. Basically, that's created you more work because you'll have to edit that shit in at the start. So that's what you get for being morose. Anyway, what's happening? How's your weekend going?
Good day today, actually. You might be noticing, Malcolm, I'm a little shade of beetroot. Caught the sun.
It's quite tricky to tell you, Barry, because you don't veer very often from various shades of puce. But anyway,
honestly,
go on.
It was a positively tropical 19 degrees down in Nottinghamshire today. A little bit of cloud cover, but the sun did break out for at least 10 minutes. So I have ended up sunburned once again. And I did even put some sun cream on today.
Okay.
Been at a football tournament with a little one. Big day today in the football tournament. The little one has never scored a football goal in her life. She plays at centre-back, never scores. Gets to a semi-final. Who wants to take a pen? Hand goes up. She only went and scored the winning penalty in the semi-final. The penalty shootout drama 2 days in a row. And then they went on and won the final. So she was captain for she got voted in as captain for the final for her penalty exploits. So she captained them and raised the trophy. So yeah, nice day for Sophie. She was absolutely.
Do you not coach that lot?
No, I was on the sidelines today. I don't coach.
No, you coach your ones. Oh, well done, Soph. Good strike. Was it a good hit? Where did you put it?
She slipped as she hit it, landed on her arse. It went high. The keeper got a hand of it and it went through. I said to her afterwards, "Did you were you aiming for high?" And she went, "No, I was aiming bottom corner." It was like, well, it didn't matter obviously, but it was I trying to be like a bit profound last night when she went to bed. I was like, Sophie, when you go to bed, just visualize like good things happening in the game tomorrow. Picture like important tackles and this happening and that happening and stuff like that. And she was like, all right. She seemed to take it on board. I got that from listening to Anthony Gordon the other week. He was talking about all this. Right. So he sort of manifests everything before a game that could happen. So anyway, I told her that. And then tonight, I'd said to her, you know, when I told you to go and like visualize things last night, did you visualize scoring the winning penalty? She went, I did visualize taking a penalty, actually. So, you know, words of wisdom from me. She went to bed and pictured herself scoring a penalty and then put it into place.
What a wonderful display of parenting in a heartwarming moment for everyone to enjoy at the top of the show. I've been to the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet of the night, bars. I'm in a state. I'm in a food coma. Everyone, I could tell everyone was a bit tired and emotional today, particularly the IT department, who in no way wanted to A, clean the kitchen, and then B, clean it for me to mess it up again. So I thought, come on, Billy Big Bollocks, everyone to the Chinese buffet. Bob goes up, 21 quid each, right? The waiter said, how old are the kids? I said 14 and 12. So she's got to pay full price. He was on half price. So 91 quid. He comes back. He's got 2 spoons of rice and a bit of naan bread on his plate. It's like, fucking 2 spoons of rice and a bit of... That would have cost 20p back in the house. I was absolutely furious at that. So I had to eat enough to make up for him. So I had a solid 3. I mean, you would have demolished it, but I had a solid 3 plates, 3.5 plates, and then about 7 desserts. Bob made up for it in desserts and chocolate fountain. So that was all right. Bob did also say on Friday at school, got a note passed to him in science. Will you go out with me? With a little 2 boxes, tick yes or no. And he threw it in the bin. He didn't even have that.
That's old-fashioned. That's the sort of stuff that would happen back in our day.
At least tick no. Yeah, and he launched it in the bin, and then he said, and Mum says, I have to... It's okay to say I don't find you unattractive, but I'm not allowed to call them mingers. So he's had a good lesson there. I'm going to be honest with you, Baz. I can't hear you again. What have you done?
No, what a nightmare.
Why is that a thing that's happened?
Unplug it and plug it back in.
Oh my God. What are we doing, Baz?
Can you hear me now?
I can't
Take
hear
the
you.
wire out.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah?
I could hear. Why could I hear before? Not now.
Take the wire out and plug it back in.
What? I've just fucking done that.
This is a shambles. An absolute shambles.
We're going to have to end and start again in 2 minutes. You can edit this together, can't you?
I can edit it for podcasts.
Tell you what, everyone who sucks. Oh, hang on, Baz, you're back.
Right, don't move.
You're coming in and out. I tell you what, you say things, I'll go and get some different headphones, all right?
What we're going to say, let's start off by talking about the England game last night. I'll give you my thoughts, and then we'll see if Malcolm comes back and wants to give any of his thoughts. Actually, we should start at the top of the quarterfinals, really. So I'm going to bring up my notes from the last podcast. They were all shit, by the way. If we're talking about my bets, I went 0 for 4. Very close. Hit the bar on a few things. But 0 for 4 for me. Spain v Germany was the first one.
Phone's on the desk.
Oh, God, we've got noise. Can't even mute them. Stick them on mute. This is an absolute shambles, this. Spain v Germany. My pick was over 1.5 team total for Spain. I thought Spain were a little unlucky not to win it in normal time. But no good for me in that one. Portugal-France was a little bit garbage again, wasn't it? As it has been throughout the tournament for France. Again, I took France to win that one. Never liked it. Once the game kicked off, you could tell. Is Malcolm able to hear me yet?
I can hear you, Baz.
Oh, we've got it. I was just talking through the game. Malcolm, it's absolute bollocks, this league. Are you good?
Yeah.
Go on. You can go back to the script. You can talk about what you were going to talk about, and then I'll chip in, and I'll just edit all of that shit out.
You seem like in the 90 seconds I've been gone, you've agitated yourself from talking. What's the matter?
I wasn't expecting to have to do any of that. You've totally stitched me up.
Sorry, said proper. You can edit that shit out later on. It's only these poor people in the chat who've been subject to this. I'm going to shout people out as well. Callum cashed the over 1.5, but the under 2.5. Unlucky Carl, but at least the knob's still attached, so that's a good thing. Andy Williams is in the chat. Sam, we haven't spoken to Sam for a little while. How are you doing? Michael, Harry, Chelsea, Lee, Slick, Rick, loads of people. Actually, Baz, we'll have a game of what's on the telly tonight. Well, I'll tell you what's on the telly. And there is a link to the show, Barry. I'm watching The Water Boy. Right. If anyone in the chat, do you know what the link is, Baz, between The Water Boy and something that happens on the Premier League Gambling podcast?
No.
No. Captain Insano is the answer. I didn't ever know where Captain Insano, a friend of the show, friend of the MLB show, gets his name from. And he's a character in The Waterboy. He's the big, stupid wrestler who the Waterboy idolises and channels his aggression from. So I saw that today, and suddenly it all came together, Baz. So there you go. Yeah, what do you want to know? I mean, the football, the picks wise, I feel like I read all the games well, and I still can't put a decent sequence together. How many times have we sat and said, A, you need to read the game well, and then B, you need to pick the right bet? Do you know what I mean? So on Friday, I took Spain and I took France, but I took them both in 90 minutes. All 4 games, Spain are in front with 5 minutes left. All right, France were a bit shit. Switzerland are in front with 10 minutes left. I took them to win and qualify. And then you've got Turkey at 5-1, who are in front with 20 minutes left. Do you know what I mean? So I think with normal luck, you could have landed a nice win. I don't think I was miles away. Gave out the over 2.5 with both teams to score in the Netherlands-Turkey game at 5-4, so that wasn't a bad pick. I thought the games were okay. I worked all weekend, so I didn't get to see them all in their entirety. Like the pub I was working in Friday had a big screen in the back garden, so I got to watch the majority. That Spain-Germany game was high quality. Like, I know there wasn't a tons of goals, but just the general football. Andy, who's joined us tonight, Andy was messaging me saying this is a great game of football. He's like, from a coach's point of view, do you know what I mean? It just looked like a good game of football. I do think Spain were the better team. France-Portugal was shit. The penalties were brilliant. Their penalties were absolutely magnificent. Even obviously France scored 5 out of 5, but Nuno Mendes, the last Portugal penalty, if he misses there out, and he come and absolutely thunder twatted it an inch under the bar, an inch inside the post, it was a great effort. Like, England don't really know what to make of it. Where we ended up with England last night was I was working again, Baz, in some marquee next to the big posh house. So there was loads of people watching the game, but everyone was on different times. So people in the house had the real feed. There was a laptop in the marquee. They were about 5 minutes behind. The bloke in the band was watching on his phone, was about 3 minutes behind, and I on my phone was about 90 seconds behind. So it was absolute mayhem in the penalties because people were cheering. He didn't know what they were cheering for. I didn't know if I was ahead of him or he was behind me or he knew something I didn't know, I knew something he didn't. So it was just absolute mayhem. But I think England really got away with that. I mean, you know more than me, Baz. What particularly were you agitated about when I found my headphones there?
Well, agitated about the fact I had 4 losing bets from the 4 games. And like you, I didn't feel I was a million miles away. Spain were the better side. I took them in the team total, so another goal for Spain would have done me. I mean, the France game was garbage. I took France as well there. England, Switzerland, obviously, I took the Swiss, like you. Go 1-0 up, 15 minutes to go. I think you got a chance. But England start to play when they go behind, so should have known. And then a little bit of luck with Turkey. They were ahead till quite late in the game. Thought it was going okay. A couple of chances for them to get a second as well, which would have obviously cashed a nice early payout.
We got killed Turkey a bit, Baz, and we forgot to mention it on the show. We did mention there was a load of people on yellow cards, but then the day after, the lad who scored the 2 goals, Demiral, got suspended for the old fascist celebration as well, and that was a massive chunk out of the game as well. So really,
the one thing that did go well, and it was one I fancied but said I couldn't keep putting out every week, was the Turkey corners, because again they were like even money to get 4 corners, and ended up hitting 8 in the end, or 7. I think it might be in 7 corners in the end. So Turkey corners done well, and I put out that corners treble. It was Portugal over 4.5. It was Turkey over 3.5, and Germany over 4.5. And I missed that treble by 1 corner as well, so that was frustrating. But go back to the England game, I just didn't enjoy it. It was slightly better, like a little bit better, but it wasn't good again. I didn't think. And what got me before we went 1-0 down, I turned and I'd said, "What, playing like we were 1-0 up?" Or like we were really happy with a 0-0 and we'll settle for this for the next half hour. So 60 minutes in, defending with 10 behind the ball. Harry Kane's almost on the edge of his own 18-yard box defending. That goal was coming when it came. But then they just spring to life, or he makes the changes when they go 1-0 down, and then now we'll try and score. There just doesn't seem to be that endeavour until the backs are against the wall, like, and they're up against it. And again, I'm just not enjoying any of it. I don't know why. You should be happy, penalty shootout win and all that, but I'm fucking just not enjoying any of it. I genuinely would not have gave a fuck if we'd got knocked out last night in that penalty shootout. It wouldn't have mattered to me. I'm just bored with it, and bored with the narrative afterwards that England have done really well there, with an extra time win against Slovakia and a penalty win against Switzerland. It changes the script of what we've just saw at half time. You were listening to Micah Richards and Rio Ferdinand. You'd think they were watching a different game. I don't think we'd had a shot on target at half time, but they were talking about everything like it was amazing. They were talking about Manu like he'd absolutely bossed everything. It was 0-0 against Switzerland at that point. I just don't enjoy it at the minute. And don't get me wrong, I'll get up for it again on Tuesday, Wednesday, isn't it? And I hope we win, but it's just boring, really boring. Harry Kane, what's he still doing? He's done absolutely nothing. He was absolutely anonymous the other day. Just take him off. Just take him out. It's the same as what we were talking about Ronaldo last week, how if he doesn't score, he doesn't do nothing. Like, it doesn't contribute enough to be worth that spot.
Yeah, right. They have been shite. There's no question, Baz. I'm kind of torn. I got a couple of messages I caught up with this morning, and I was saying I don't know if this is good from England. You know what I mean? Are they absolutely really good because they're not getting knocked out? That's what they keep doing. They keep not getting knocked out, and if you can keep doing that, you're going to end up winning. It's really easy. And Greece have done it. France have done it. France have been worse than us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I imagine the reaction in France, like there'll be a French version of me and you, bit better looking and stinking of garlic, but they'll be talking the exact same as me and you about France. We'll get on to France in a little while. They've been absolutely terrible, so I can't decide. But you're right. It's the late goals that papered over the cracks, or is that all part of it? Like, don't really know, Baz, but like I say, I mean, they've made 3 semi-finals out the last 4 tournaments, and Southgate's won
I mentioned that in my analysis of the England game as well, so I'll come to that in a bit. One thing I did notice from Southgate's interview was something you picked up on last week about the team news getting leaked every single game. You've known the England lineup 3 days before, and Southgate was asked about it. Why does this keep happening? And I thought it was a fair enough response. I mean, he's obviously got a problem in the camp. Somebody is leaking it somewhere.
Yeah.
He needs to sort that crap out. But he said, in terms of the English press, like, are you with us or are you against us? Because why are you publishing that? If you want England to do well, then why are you giving Switzerland the upper hand by telling them? And I think it's a point, because none of us gain anything by reading in the newspaper.
But any other journalist could publish it. If it's coming out from one of the players or whatever, all they've got to do is text a Swiss fella or a German fella or anything. It doesn't matter, does it? But it is weird. They asked him about it about an hour before the bird who was talking to him said about the 5 at the back, and he said, "Well, we'll have to see how we line up." And I thought, everyone knows how you're going to line up, you dick. But he did actually pull the old switcheroo, Baz, because he played the left back at right back and the right back at left back. So I hadn't heard that. So maybe just done that with 5 minutes to go out of bloody mindedness. So I'm not having them thinking.
And to be fair,
they know my team.
To be fair, I should say Saka was probably man of the match. Had his best game. Was the biggest threat all game. Took his goal well. It's a goal that we see week in, week out for Arsenal. So hats off to Saka, who did have a very good game, I thought.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, we need to make some picks now. We wasted about 7 minutes pissing about with my headphones, so that's eating into the Prime Entertainment. Let's tell you about the latest episode of SGP Stories, which is out on Patreon, where the guys do, here we go, a forensic file steep dive on the Bobby Petrino motorcycle accident that cost him his job. Means nothing to 95% of the people who listen to this show. And make sure to check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast with Terrell and Scott. having started out red hot on their locks. Underdog Fantasy have signed up another huge long-term contract with us here. Pick 8 is now live. Create entries with up to 8 picks. Underdog automatically double flex your entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win. The best part is you can win up to 325 times your original amount, so don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. Sign up with our code PLGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And the Circa Survivor and the Circa Millions, $16 million in guaranteed prizes. No rake with these contests. Circa Millions, pick 5 NFL teams against the spread every week for $6 million, or run the Survivor Gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports and then use our proxy to play from anywhere. Our code SGP is good at footballcontestproxy.com. That'll save you $50. If you're out in Vegas, Sean and Ryan and several others of the network will be out August the 22nd through to the 24th, hanging out at the Circa. Loads of free bars as well, so get yourself across. Probably an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet as well. Right, you Baz. Harry's claiming my new nickname is Headphones. Like that sort of thing would stick. Like Bob's got a mate who, like twice in the last 2 years, when they've started doing like sex education in the class, he just passes out. So, but they haven't even like a bit like when I had to go, when I went to the antenatal classes all those years ago, and I'm quite queasy, and like basically the woman told us where you could park the car, and that was me gone. I was away. I got sent out in disgrace. I never went back. Like that was just at the car park. But well, his mate twice. So I think the first time the teacher mentioned fallopian tubes, and he just fell off his chair in a heap. Now, why his nickname now should be Phil for fallopian tubes or something like that, but it's not. There's no bullying anymore. I put a set of headphones on, and Harry's trying to get me nicknames headphones in the chat. Old school nickname stuff. I like that, Harry. And I will carry on with the fallopian tubes kid, trying to get to the offensive nickname. Right. I hope his dad wasn't listening to that because he knows exactly who it is. I've just outed him. It's funny though. 8 o'clock on Tuesday, Barry, is Spain versus France. That is 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Spain in 90 minutes, 13-8 plus 162. The draw is 15-8 plus 187. France 21-10 plus 210. To qualify, Spain are 4-5 minus 120. France even money plus 100. Change our luck, Baz. You go first.
Oh, Christ. Caught me off guard there, aren't you?
Oh, that's twice up morning.
Throw me under a bus.
No, like stay in it.
Anyway,
Idiot.
no, I'm fine. I'm fine with this one because I've got some notes. That's absolutely okay. Where do you start? 2 undefeated teams, Spain and France. Definitely one, though, who have caught the eye a bit more than the other. I think France, you've mentioned, followed a very similar path. They've been underwhelming, dull to watch, strong at the back, scraped their way through games, but very underwhelming, as I say. 2 wins, 3 draws, unders every game for France. Mentioned it last week. You went the other way just on the value of the other side of it, but it was very much.
There's no value in either of those, but it turns out.
So yeah, five games in a row under 2.5. Just 5 goals in total across the 5 games involving France. They've still yet to score an open play goal themselves. Got 1 penalty and a couple of own goals. Spain's route here, I think, looks stronger, not just in terms of the performances, but arguably, I think, the opposition as well. They beat Croatia, beat Italy in the group. Did need extra time against Germany, but nearly got that one done in 90 minutes. The sort of contrast in form here is Spain have not been shut out. They've scored in every game. France, on the other hand, have only conceded once, I think, now. So someone's got to give. Which way do you go? My favourite pick here doesn't really need me to go either way. I would say if I was taking a pick on the outrights, I'd probably go for the draw here. Just that France defence and being able to shut things out. You wouldn't back on it being a really, really tight, but back against it being a really, really tight game. We've seen it in the knockouts. 3 of the 4 quarterfinals all went to extra time. Nothing to suggest this is going to be any different. So I do like the draw at whatever price the draw is. You just mentioned it. I can't remember.
15-8 plus
15-8
187
draw here, and the 0-0 draw at 11-2. If I was going to take a draw, it's certainly not going to be a 2-2, 3-3 or anything like that. So 11-2 for the 0-0 is not bad. But the pick that jumps out for me is it's a positive France pick, despite the fact they've been garbage. It's something that's hit in every game, and I just think that the line's really low. It's a stats pick, and it's France shots on goal, not shots on target. They hit 20 against Portugal, 19 against Belgium, 19 against Poland, 15 against Netherlands, 14 against Austria. So 5 games. The lowest shots on goal they've had is 14. The average is 17. The line here is over 12.5 shots at evens. So just shots on goal. They've failed to do that just once in the last 13 games, I think. And I just think the line's too good. I think there's a real chance they could get behind to Spain here and then be pushing for an equaliser. That would help the sort of script here. But yeah, I really like the France shots over 12.5. Trying to do something different because my form in these knockout stages has been very, very poor. So I'm going to take France over 12.5 shots at evens. I'm going to take over 14.5 at 9-4. Over 16.5 at 4-1, and over 18.5 at 7-1. As I say, they've hit that over 18.5. They've done it in the last 2 games against Portugal and Belgium. In fact, they've done it in the last 3. They've done it against Poland as well. So they've hit 19 shots in 3 games on the bounce, albeit they had a bit of extra time in one of those. But get on the France shots ladder. The other thing I've got here, so I've tried to find a card pick for each, and I'll double them up at the end as well. I'll give you the price for the double. But I like Rodri to get a card. He's been booked 3 times in 5 games. He's had a suspension already. At 11-4, looks good value. In a difficult game, Rodri's the one that's going to be in the action in the middle of the park. So I like Rodri to get a yellow card as well at 11-4.
Well, I've got a pick here, Baz. It's going to make you laugh a lot on the grounds you've dipped into that weird market. I thought Spain were excellent from what I saw against Germany. Thought I was unlucky not to cash the win in 90 minutes. They got there in the end. Mickey Merino, ex-Newcastle, Newcastle dominating the Euros as per. I remember he scored that header against Crystal Palace. Very similar. At the Leazer's end, Rafa knew. So I think with a better striker, Spain would be absolutely top class. Well, not top class anyway, but like there would be separation between them and the rest of the team. Morata's just a little bit off it. Trying to think of a good sort of English comparison striker to Morata, like someone who's maybe Callum Wilson, maybe, you know, like a little bit older, who's all right, fine, but not quite there. Like if they had a striker that loads of other teams have got, Spain would be absolutely great. They've got 4 wins in 90 minutes and 1 win in 120 minutes. Spain, they've scored 11 goals. And you mentioned that form line. They've got wins against Italy, Croatia, and Germany. In that now, France have been worse than England. Beat Austria 1-0, own goal. 1-1 Poland with a penalty. 0-0 Netherlands. 1-0 in the last 16. Or Belgium, late own goal again. And then 0-0 in penalties. So they've done absolutely nothing. And their form line is Poland, Denmark, and a poor Belgium team. It's not Italy, Croatia, Germany. They're not comparable. I take Spain again. I took Spain on Friday 90 minutes and I was fucking right. I didn't win, but I was right. I'd rather be right and skint than rich and lucky, Barry. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you on a Sunday night with nothing better to do. Spain 13-8 plus 162. But I like it. I've got a little weird bet here, Barry. I found myself in the shots market, but and I like Spain shots.
That's absolutely fine.
I was just laughing. I thought I'm going to get something here that no one else has thought of, and then I'll let you go first, straight at the shots market. Spain are averaging just over 16 shots, Barry, and the line's set at 12.5. It's just really juiced the 12.5. It's 13-18, so it's around about 4-6 minus 138. So you'll have to look around for a bigger one, a better one. So I'll be looking for over 13.5 shots. I mean, I haven't worked out the ladder like you did. But I do like the shots market. In terms of other market, the goals market, Spain have gone 2-3, under 2.5, 2-3, both teams to score, where France have gone 0-5 to the over 2.5, and 1-4, both teams to score. The unders 1-2 again. I tried to get a bit cute with it last week. It didn't work, so I'm just happy to leave that. I've got no thoughts on both teams to score. At -138. But Spain have scored plenty of goals, and they do look like they've got goals in them again. Germany had been defending really well. They got one, Spain, and I thought they were valued for more again. They got one against Italy. They could have scored 4 or 5 against Italy. They got 3 against Croatia. The Spain team total over 1.5, I think, is an exceptional price, Barry, at 2-1. We don't normally see that. If we're handicapping a fucking good team, like their team total, it's normally 4-5 or whatever, isn't it? That's round about the line. You get 5-6. 2-1, I think, is absolutely nuts. And over 2.5 is 7-1. There's a massive leap. So I like those bets. And the other one, because I do think Spain are considerably better, Barry, Spain to win either half is 5-6, -120. They can beat Spain. They can beat France 1-0 in 45 minutes of football. They get 2 chances to do that. And I think that's a great bet as well. 5-6, Spain to win either half. So, yeah, bit of a selection there, Baz. Fire a few darts at that one. Anything else before we bash on to the next one?
I would say
Laporte shot.
Yeah, I would say. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right then. I would say I did look at that Spain goals market. It was where I looked to start with. I did start off on that point, but then it's the France defence side is the thing that worries me a little bit. And as you mentioned, Morata potentially being a little bit of a weakness. Although I thought Dani Olmo's looked really good in the last couple of games. But I don't mind. I think it is a big price. You're right, for a good side.
Okay, that you finished your sentence in the middle of a sentence here. This might be one of the worst shows we've ever done, Baz. In episode of
never know, Malcolm. It might be the best picks we've ever done.
Yeah, that's true.
We might balance it out.
See, I quite enjoy the quality of the show, is my thing, and you quite like winning picks. So between us, there's a nice combination there to be had, but one of us is going to get our way this time. Right, we've got another game to pick. We've got some more adverts here. Rhythm's a good advert. If you're betting on player props, you need to download Rhythm. Do it immediately. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter, data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists. Rhythm's projections have been red hot for WNBA and golf. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. So I got to this job last night, right, Baz? It was up past Ponteland. Proper, I mean, like Ponteland's the fancy houses. It was a tier up from that. It was a works do. So this bloke owns the company. We put on like a summer, festival thing. It's like fucking Glastonbury. It was huge. They were all meant to be staying in a field out the back. There was with 50 tents set up. It was pissing down. The tents were all floating off them. I felt so sorry for them. There was about 20 inflatables all just rolled up in sad balls, untouched. The place stank. I was in the marquee. But anyway, the gaffer, old bloke, obviously very well to do. His son came and introduced himself. And I thought I know him. But he had his face painted like a pink tiger. So I couldn't, that puts you off a bit. Do you know what I mean? If you think you know somebody, but you've never seen them painted up as a pink tiger. Until he said to me, I know you, don't I? And then it was, it was the Wall's End manager, like the same age group as Bob's. So me and him have stood on opposite touchlines, calling each other names for about 5 years, but he's absolutely sound. But the pink tiger face just threw me. I was like, I think I know you, but I've never seen you. With whiskers and a bright pink, much like the bloke off Phoenix Nights. But yeah, nice fella. His missus plays competitive. She plays international softball for USA. She's all right, lovely big blonde, bit of athletic equipment. Baz enjoyed her a lot. Right. Oh, Coisty's here. All right, Coisty, how you doing? Up to Scotland, etc. Wednesday night, is 8 o'clock kickoff, 3 p.m. Eastern Time between the Netherlands and England. The Netherlands are price of the Netherlands. I've got it on the wrong page. 11-5 plus 220. The draw is 19-10 plus 190. England 6-4 plus 150. To qualify, the Dutch are 11-10 plus 110. England 13-18 minus 138. Start with the Netherlands. They are not top class. We've just talked about Spain, France, Germany, teams that we feel are. And they've struggled in parts. So almost every game, they haven't put a decent performance together, really. Well, they beat Romania 3-0. Romania were terrible. They had no business being in that round at all. But they lost to Austria. They had to come from behind against Poland and Turkey at the weekend. They finished third in their group, for God's sake, scraped through. So I'm not really inclined to beat the Dutch because they haven't beaten anybody particularly. England at 6-4 is an outright pick. You can't bet them. They've played 5 games. They've only won 4. I think we've said that's 2 in 10 now that they've won recently. I don't think they were any better than Switzerland. They were slightly better than they played better than they have done, but I don't think they were any better than Switzerland. And Switzerland aren't a top class team. This is a decent matchup. I would say these teams are quite well matched. So there's no way England should be 6-4 favourites. One of the things for me here, Baz, is Mark Gahey's now available. So does that mean they just go back to what they were? I mean, we'll probably find out.
We'll find out in the morning, won't we?
Yeah, we'll find out in the morning, yeah. But he's going to put Gahey back in, isn't he? So what do we do? 3 at the back again, or what? What do you think?
I think he'll probably stick with a 3 at the back. Possibly just a straight swap, Gahey for Konsa.
Yeah.
Whether he makes a change with Luke Shaw, he got, what did he get? 45 minutes the other day, Luke Shaw, and I didn't pull up any trees, but he survived 45 minutes without snapping his hamstring, so that's a bonus. I think he'll leave Trippier in. I think he'll play the same lineup, but with Gahey back in for Konsa.
Okay. So can't take England to win in 90. They're just not winning. I don't think the Dutch are good enough to win this either, because England, while they're not winning, they're not losing. Like, it's going to take a good team to beat them. Teams of this level haven't been beating England. And that only leaves you with a draw, Baz. If neither teams can win, I mean, we've only got the draw left, haven't we? So that's sorted itself out. That's easy. 19-10 plus 190. In terms of the over-unders, England all 5 under 2.5. But the Dutch are 4-1 to the over 2.5. So that's not particularly helpful. Both teams to score here, Baz, though. Both teams are 3-2. To the both teams to score. England had the 1-1 against Denmark, 1-1 against Slovakia, 1-1 against Switzerland. And then the others haven't. Where the Dutch had the 3-2, the 2-1, and Turkey 2-1 at the weekend. So I'm getting even money. Both teams to score, Baz, about something that's sitting at a 60% clip. So I think that's a fair price. So that'll be my main play. I'm going to take both teams to score even money. Now, England have also demonstrated, Baz, an ability to get a goal when they need it. And England to score in the second half is 9-10, minus 1-1-1. So, pattern of play, they might do what they always do, find themselves 1-0 down, have to go and nick one. They might get one on the break if they're 1-0 up and the Dutch are pushing. We've got loads of options. I mean, it's only scoring a goal. We're talking about it like it's a fucking Mars landing or something. Kick it in the goal. It's not that hard. England to score in the second half, 9-10, minus 1-1-1. And I do like the both teams to score evens, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, your point about England getting a goal when they need it. I had a look at. I started off with England to win from behind. It's at 12-1, but then I don't think they're going to win, so I don't like that. I think what I was really looking for was England to concede first and then to score a goal at some point, which would hit you both teams to score, and probably because we do seem to wait until we're behind before thinking, we better try and do something different here. I mean, I've talked Netherlands down throughout the tournament, and I wouldn't get away from that too much, but I do feel as if they've grown into it a little bit, albeit, the knockout stages, Romania didn't really put up much of a fight. I did think Turkey were a little unlucky. Turkey gave them a good game. I actually think Turkey would have given us more of a game than Netherlands. I would have feared Turkey more than Netherlands, potentially, because the way they just relentless, like they won't stop going at you. It was the one in the quarterfinals where I did say I fancied the overs. 4 of the Netherlands games have went over, as you've said, and they've scored 2 or more goals in 4 of the 5. I think that's the difference here. Is we're coming up against a team who can score goals. If they can score 2 here, might very well be enough. You've mentioned yourself, though, the goals angles contradicted a bit by the England side of it, with the unders hitting every time. I still can't have England, like you, slightly improved last night. But for me, the thing that sticks in my mind, because you mentioned earlier about, and you've heard it a lot since last night, Southgate can't be that bad because he's made 3 semi-finals now and 1 final now. But the thing that sticks to me is, like, how many big games or big teams have we beaten in those runs to semi-finals? Because for me, in my head, I feel like we fall at the first big challenge that hits us. We fall. In the World Cup, it was France. That was the first tough game we had. We get beat. In the Euros, fair enough. We did beat Germany, but Germany were at their worst they'd been for a long time in that Euros. Come up against Italy, fall short again. Same against Croatia in the other semi-final. So I'm just not convinced that we've got it in us. When the sort of stakes are high in a big game against a big team, and fair enough, Netherlands are very much around our level. I just don't know if we've got it in us. And nothing we've seen in the performances sort of gives you any confidence to, as you say, go out and back England at 6-4. 2 wins in 8, I think. No, 4 draws in a row in 90 minutes. And I think, as I say, people, you listen to this one, you talk about the team spirit and the win at all costs, and it doesn't matter. And it's right, it doesn't matter at this stage, particularly knockout football. Just get through, it doesn't matter. But an extra time win over Slovakia and a penalty win over Swiss just doesn't inspire me. So I don't want England, like you. I think the draw is a real possibility. I think England have rode their luck to this point. So I want Netherlands on my side. I think Netherlands could nick it. So I'll take Netherlands to qualify at 11-10. So I've still got a chance with a draw of having a run into extra time. But Netherlands to qualify for me at 11-10. I will repeat, however, that I've made a losing pick on every single England game. 0-5 on England games. So hopefully we'll have another loser here and England make their way into a final. But yeah, my main pick is Netherlands to qualify at 11-10. And I've got a card pick in this one as well. And I'm going to go for Ake. It's because Saka was the best thing about the England side yesterday. He'll be up against Ake. Should be a threat. So I'll take Ake for a card. 5-1 for Ake to get a card. He's got 1 already in the tournament. So that is my second pick for this game.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Harry's saying that you should be ashamed of yourself, Baz, but there's not much kind of England love going on in the comments. Andy reckons quite a few 0-0s actually, or draws at least. Sam wants the 1-1. Bit of talk about Cody Gakpo, Baz. What's the situation there? Because you backed him. Top, what price was he in? Is he joint top at the minute? He's
joint top on 3, and he got 1 disallowed in the round of 16, and he had 1 nicked last night. He'd give it as an own goal. 2 of them slid for it, and it sort of hits Gakpo, hits the defender, and then it was, they changed it to an own goal, which robbed him. He would have been clear ahead. He's 6-4 favourite, Gakpo, now for top scorer. It was 11-1 when I put that one out, but it's close, isn't it? Because he's only on 3. Bellingham's got 2. Kane's got 2. I think Olmo's got 2. So there's quite a few of them around on a couple of goals. Yeah, Andy in the chat's right. He was robbed last night. He would have had 4. He'd have been clear. He'd have been odds-on favourite at this stage. But still a chance.
What a swindle, Baz. Have you got anything else? Do you have any little bet builders, scorers, anything like that?
Oh, I've got a little bit of something else, yes. I'll start with the double. It's just the cards double that I put out. So I do like Rodri and Ake, 2 Man City players there. 21-1 for them both to get a card in their respective games.
I like that, Baz. That's a bit of an arse sniffer, that.
So I like the draw in both of these games. In the draw double, 7.5 to 1, 15 to 2. Nice. They're going to be tight games, as I say. We've seen 3 draws in the quarterfinals there out of the 4. So I don't mind the draws in both of them. It's 7.5 to 1. And I finish off with a little bet builder across the 2 games, and it's shots on target. I've picked 1 shot on target from 1 player from each team, and it just looks quite easy. Although the very first one I'm going to mention is where it probably falls down. I've got Harry Kane to get a shot on target. He didn't get one yesterday, and he never looked like he was going to. But he has had 1 shot on target in the previous 4 games. So 4 of his 5, he's had a shot on target. Gakpo, shot on target, has landed in 5 out of 5. Olmo has had 5 shots on target in his last 2 games. So we'll go for Olmo. And the obvious one from France is Mbappe. He's failed once in the 4 games that he's played. But he's got 8 across the 4 games he's played. He's got plenty. 6 to 1 for those 4. All to just have 1 shot on target. Hopefully we'll get the 2 in, Olmo and Mbappe, on Tuesday night and have a little run into Wednesday with the others. So Kane, Gakpo, Olmo and Mbappe, 1 shot on target each. 6 to 1.
Fair enough. Well done, Barry. I was going to make some other picks. I thought I had, and then I went for that Chinese, and it doesn't look like I bothered on my notes, so I don't know what else to tell you. I do quite like. I'm going to go back to Yamal to get a goal again because he's playing so well. He gets in some good positions. It's unavoidable that he shapes one into the far corner or drags one into the near post, gives the keeper the eyes at some point in the next couple of games. So Lamine Yamal is 8 to 1, first and last goal scorer, and plus 375. What's that? 15 to 4 in old money. 15 to 4 anytime goal scorer. And I'm just going to have a look at the shots here because I quite like Kobe Mainoo's been getting himself in some decent positions and gets the odd ping off from the edge of the box. He had a little paintbrush volley that drifted over the bar the other day. So if I can just drag up player goal scorers, he's going to be a right old price, isn't he? This is good audio. I really should have wrote this down, but I was filling myself up with their spare ribs. Kieran Trippier, can't find him. I can't find him. I'm going to stop this there.
What are you looking for?
Kobe Mainoo to score. You got him?
Well, no. Why?
Well,
oh, there he is. He is. Sorry, 14 to 1 for an anytime goal from Kobe Mainoo. That's not a bad shout. That, you know, it's worth a dig.
It is, and I think off the top of my head, I think he's 4 to 1 to have a shot on target. Cheers, Michael. 28 first goal, 14 to 1 anytime. Bosh sorted all of that out. Well, that's it, Barry. Have you got anything you want to tell the people about before we put an end to this absolute shambles?
Just an apology, really, for the absolute shambles. Thank you to the currently 14 people still watching on YouTube. I'm interested to see how many unsubscribe from YouTube at the end of it.
An expected dip, Baz.
Hopefully, after a little bit of creative editing, the podcast doesn't sound too bad, but probably won't be great.
If you have listened to the, if you've been here live, I suggest go back and listen to the podcast. It'll be unrecognisable. You think, that's not the show I listen to. With 48 minutes, I reckon you could edit this down to about 17 minutes of actual decent content, Baz. And the rest of the time, it's either me not being able to hear you, the missus in the bed running around finding me headphones, or just general shite like that.
You've never asked me what I was drinking tonight, Malcolm, as I've been going through. Might be a little bit of a clue as to who's going to win the tournament, because I've got a nice Rioja here. So,
okay.
We're on the Spanish wine, Esta Volvienda a Casa. Do you know what that means?
Say it again.
Esta Volvienda a Casa.
Who was stolen the windy house? I think
it's coming home in Spanish.
Oh, well, that's pretty much what I said, isn't it? Fucking hell, splitting hairs there, Barry. I'm almost fluent. I've got a cup of tea on. I had a cocktail last night at that fancy bar. It was a free bar. So I got an old-fashioned spiced rum. It absolutely nearly blew me head off. Like, I had to drive, and I thought, if I finish this, I'm going to be wobbling down the country lanes, like, because it was strong as snakes. But I enjoyed that; it was good. Right, thanks everyone as Barry said, it is a bit of a shit show. But, it's quite charming with it. That's what we're aiming for. Barry will sort that out in the edit. We'll come back on probably Thursday, Baz, when none of this technical silliness will happen again. Thursday, do we think? Are you nodding?
Probably. I've got to go to Mansfield Thursday night. We've got Chloe doing a referees course this week. So I've got to go up to Mansfield for 3 hours on Thursday night. But we'll be back. As long as you can do a late one, 10 o'clock or onwards, then we'll be back on Thursday. Right,
okay, let's do that, mate. It might be after MLB then, or I can ask for the night off. Anyway, another production meeting on air. Well done, everybody. We'll see you in the week. Look out for the scheduled things. Good luck with your bets. Enjoy the football is the main thing. The one thing I'm going to do correctly is press the music button now. We will see you down the road. Cheers.